So, our Sunday program is Kirtan, some discussion on philosophy, Krishna conscious philosophy. What is this chanting all about? What is Bhakti Yoga? Look like you two are practicing some kind of yoga? Yes. Good. You see, I joined in New York City, and there was one disciple of Prabhupada who joined in 1970s. And he was, can you close that please? Just too much talking this. Пожалуйста. Thank you. So, his name is Bhushar Prabhu. He joined in 1970s. He was a yogi. He was doing pranayam, hatha yoga, and macrobiotic diets. He, only eats sprouts. No, I'm just kidding. So it's very controlling his senses very much. He thought yoga is controlling the senses, refraining from sense gratification. And one day, at night, he was traveling in the subway in New York. And it was late night, and the train was empty. It was only him and his friend. And one bum. Bum means homeless person. So this homeless person was sitting back to them, many seats away from them, and he just threw this magazine just behind him, threw it away. And they were sitting there was nobody else on the train. The magazine was coming, landing in front of him. And it was a Back to Godhead magazine, our magazine of the Hare Krishna movement. And it was landing on the face down, so the front cover on the floor, and the back cover was an invitation to our Sunday feast, to our Sunday love feast. And there was a big picture of, subdues and puri and paneer and halava and pakoras and sweet rice, chutneys, everything, rice. And he says, come to our Bhakti Yoga Sunday feast. And he said, what kind of yoga is this? I'm following a macrobiotic diet. I was just looking, and his friend said, pick it up, it's for you. So he went to the temple, and there he was, this huge feast. And the devotees were sumptuously eating prasadam to their full satisfaction. And it was very new for him, because we engage everything in Krishna's service. And even the food that we eat is offered to Krishna. And is no longer just sense gratification, but it is enjoyed by Krishna, it is touched by Krishna, blessed by Krishna, and by eating it we become purified, we become blessed, become transcendental. Sharirar abhidyaja jadindritaheka jive pela vishaya sagare. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, and out of all the senses, the tongue is the most voracious. It's very difficult to control the tongue. It's not possible to control the tongue. Not only eating, also talking. Gossiping, politics, football, sports, whatever. It just goes on. And what he said, and then she said that, and then he said that, and I said that, and it just goes on forever. And then food stuff. We want to eat lots of nice food stuff. Who doesn't? The army moves on his stomach. Old saying. So, but by offering the food that we loving, we prepare for the pleasure, satisfaction of Krishna. We take that prasadam and we will not, our senses become controlled. We get the opposite effect. I remember in New York City when I was not a devotee yet. I was going down the street and there was this Mataji in a sari, this Western lady in a sari, and she handed me a donor, like a katori of halwa. And I stood there in a hand with this halwa, and I said, what is this? And she said, this is toasted semolina in butter and sugar and offered to the Lord with love and devotion. I was like, wow. And it tasted really good. It wasn't just the sugar, it wasn't just the butter. It was something spiritual about it. It was something otherworldly about it that I never tasted. And I remember I used to go out on Saturday distributing books a little bit here in Copenhagen, and had this vegetarian, what's it called in Danish? Jesus. So that vegetarian Saturday, yeah. And, I prepared a big bucket of halwa every time, strawberry halwa, no, just plain halwa with vanilla and everything. And strawberry shrikand, condensed yogurt with shrikand. And so I was distributing it to everybody. And we'll take it and I say, can you say Hare Krishna? And they say, Hare Krishna, immediately. And they listen to the kirtan and they're munching on the halwa. And they were in the spiritual world. They were just walking down the street and suddenly they don't know where they are. This is some outworldly experience they're having. Even Muslim ladies, everybody's coming. So anyway, the purpose of sitting here is to give a class on Bhagavad Gita. Sorry to go off track. But this is a different type of yoga. Actually, this is the ultimate yoga. Ultimate yoga is to love God and love God's expansions, all these living entities. When we say that when we water the tree, the root of the tree, the whole tree gets nourished. So when we love Krishna, everybody else becomes happy. You become happy and everybody else becomes happy. The branches, the twigs, everything. Separately trying to love, separately from Krishna, it doesn't work. When you try to put water on the twigs, the leaves, it doesn't work. Well, you can. And then Srila Prabhupada explains the spark out of fire, that is our position in the mature world. The spark is a part of the fire, and within the fire it has all the qualities of the fire, all the greatness of fire. But when it comes out in the form of a spark, what happens? Just poof, finished, gone. That is our position here. We are weak, we are miserable, disturbed all the time. We have a mind, we have senses, they're disturbing us. Mind disturbing us. Bodhika and Adi Daivika kleshas, the threefold miseries. Miseries caused by other living entities, wild animals, even mosquitoes, ticks, whatever. Even our own family members. And then natural calamities. We have tsunamis, volcanoes, heat, cold, torrential rains. And then Atmika, our own self, our own mind is disturbing us all the time. Very difficult. But when we connect back with Krishna, even just by eating prasadam, our mind becomes pacified. This process is very sublime and it's very soothing. Very soothing. Nothing else can pacify the mind. Only when you come in contact with Krishna consciousness. Krishna's devotees, the holy name, prasadam, this philosophy, and this book, which eventually I start reading. So So here we go. We're reading from Bhagavad Gita, as it is. Text 65. Is it on the board here? Oh, okay. So what do? Everybody chants, right? There's no time for that, right? Okay. Couple people can chant. Manmana bhava madbhakto matyajimam namaskuru mame vaishyasya satyam te pratijana priyosi me. Somebody wants to chant. Manmana bhava madbhakto matyajimam namaskuru mame vaishyasya satyam te pratijane priyosi me. Manmana bhava madbhakto matyajimam namaskuru mame vaishyasya satyam te pratijane priyosi me. Manmana bhava madbhakto matyajimam namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me. Matmana, thinking of me, bhava, just become, madbhaktaha, my devotee, matyaji, my worshipper, mam, unto me, namaskuru, offer your obeisances, mam, unto me, eva, certainly, eshyasi, you will come, satyam, truly, te, to you, pratijane, I promise, priyaha, dear, asi, you are, me, to me. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Always think of me. Oh, okay. You'd have to follow now, okay? Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. Purport. The most confidential part of knowledge is that one should become a pure devotee of Krishna and always think of him and act for him. One should not become an official meditator. Life should be so molded that one will always have the chance to think of Krishna. One should always act in such a way that all his daily activities are in connection with Krishna. He should arrange his life in such a way that throughout the 24 hours he cannot but think of Krishna. And the Lord's promise is that anyone who is in such pure Krishna consciousness will certainly return to the abode of Krishna, where he will be engaged in the association of Krishna face to face. This most confidential part of knowledge is spoken to Arjuna because he is dear friend of Krishna. Everyone who follows the path of Arjuna can become a dear friend to Krishna and to obtain the same perfection as Arjuna. These words stress that one should concentrate his mind upon Krishna, the very form with two hands, carrying a flute, the bluish boy with a beautiful face and peacock feathers in his hair. There are descriptions of Krishna found in the Brahma Samhita and other literatures. One should fix his mind on this original form of Godhead, Krishna. One should not even divert his attention to other forms of the Lord. The Lord has multi-forms as Vishnu, Narayan, Rama, Varaha, etc. But a devotee should concentrate his mind on the form that was present before Arjuna. Concentration of the mind on the form of Krishna constitutes the most confidential part of knowledge. And this is disclosed to Arjuna because Arjuna is the most dear friend of Krishna. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjala Shilakaya Chakshur Umlitam Gena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Romapada Swamriti Namane. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So this is a very famous verse, of course, and in the Bhagavad Gita, the different yoga processes are described. Karma yoga, then jnana yoga, then dhyana yoga, and different yoga processes, how to control the mind, how to control the senses. Krishna describes to Arjuna these different processes. And by the end of the 6th chapter, he says, out of all the yogis, the one who always thinks of me is the best. What is the process of yoga? It's self-realization. First, we have to understand what is the self and what is our goal by realizing the absolute truth. Absolute truth is described in Bhagavad Gita by Krishna. He speaks of himself. So many verses, and also describes the method of attaining himself to Arjuna, gives the process. Arjuna was a dear friend of Krishna, and therefore he was a pure devotee, of course. You cannot be in Krishna's direct association as a friend, as a dear friend, most dear friend, the dearest friend, unless you're a purified personality, eternally liberated personality. In fact, Arjuna never had any contact or never was there's a chance for the material energy to cover him over with illusion, with Maya. But here Arjuna takes the role of a student, or the role of us, a conditioned soul who is ignorant, who doesn't know what to do, doesn't understand the essential and basic questions of human life. Why are we here? How did we get here? Where are we going? Where should be going? Why am I suffering? Sanatana Goswami, the greatest scholar of that age, he says, people praise me like I'm the greatest scholar. He attained every possible PhD possible and beyond. And he says, people praise me, yet I don't know who am I. Who am I? Ke ami in Bengali. Ke ami, who am I? I don't know who I am. What do we know who we are? We only understand this material body, but this material body is not the real self. This is just a shell. It's just a covering over the soul. We're entrapped in this material body. We identify with this material body, and we pursue happiness through this material body, through the mind or intelligence, subtle ways, and the gross ways through the senses, like the tongue, just like you said, genitals, touch, hearing, seeing, different senses and their sense objects. So we try to enjoy this material body, but we are not this material body. So different yoga processes described in the Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna says, from the beginning. You're not this material body, and you should tolerate pain, pleasure, happiness, distress, heat, cold. Don't identify with this bodily conception. Fine, we don't, but that will not take you very far. We still don't know who we are. So therefore we have to understand Krishna's position. Krishna is the absolute truth. He is the source of all. What is it? Ishvara Parama Krishna. He is the supreme controller. Ishvara Parama Krishna. Satchit Ananda Vigraha. So Satchit Ananda Vigraha. He has a Sat, eternal, Chit, fully cognizant, and Ananda, form. So, yeah, I'm going to get there. Okay, thank you. So Sat means eternal. God is eternal. We are also eternal, but now we are entrapped in these material bodies which are temporary. We take birth, very painful process. We die, very frightful and painful process. And between, we get some happiness, we get some satisfaction, and we get a lot of the opposite also, the other end. So birth is guaranteed, death is guaranteed, old age is guaranteed, and disease is guaranteed. These are 4 principles of material life. What are the enjoyments of material? Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. And Srila Prabhupada explains the animals also do these 4 things. So if we don't come above eating and sleeping and mating and defending, we are on the animal platform. Therefore, yoga is recommended. Yes, yoga is very high. And the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita says, Krishna says, that yogi, out of all the yogis, the one who thinks of me all the time is the highest. This is the same verse here. Always think of me, become my devotee. Worship me and offer your homage unto me. Thus, you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you're my very dear friend. So, to be a very dear friend, that is what we want. That's where we want to get. And then Srila Prabhupada explains, life should be so molded that one will always have the chance to think of Krishna. One should always act in such a way that all his daily activities are in connection with Krishna. And Bhakti Yoga is not just a sentimental process. Oh, we love God or something. We love Krishna. No. Walk the talk. You don't just love God when you come to the temple, but you go back home and you have a different life, a second life. No, we practice this 24 hours a day. And definitely there are challenges because we still have a material body. We still have a material mind. We still have our senses. They're pushing us. You have a crazy mind. It's uncontrolled mind. And it is so, but we have to, and it can easily be brought under control by this process of Bhakti Yoga. And who knows what is the best process to control the mind? Hare Krishna. It's very easy, isn't it? So there are 4 different yugas. Satya Yuga, Dwapar Yuga. What is it? Dwapar next or Treta? Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and this is Kali Yuga. This is the last age, the Iron Age. Satya Yuga is the Golden Age. The Golden Age in Satya Yuga, all 4 consisting 4,300,000 years, something like that. I don't know exact number. It's long enough. In Satya Yuga, it's over. Everybody is in the mode of goodness and they're very pious. There's no sinful life. Still, they're in the material body, in the material senses. And this described method for self-realization is Hatha Yoga, Astanga Yoga, meditation. What are they meditating on? This Hatha Yoga is basically just a preliminary process to qualify one to subdue the mind. It's a mechanical process to bring the mind under control, to calm the mind. But the ultimate goal of meditation is to have vision of Krishna or Super Soul, Paramatma, in the heart. Patanjali's Astanga Yoga process is describing this method. So in Kali Yuga, this is practically impossible. We can practice exercise, yoga exercise, but it's very difficult to actually see Krishna in the heart, in his one heart, by this process, because, again, the mind is very difficult to control. In Kali Yuga, we don't have the same facilities, or we don't have the same material bodies as we had in Satya Yuga. In Satya Yuga, people were very calm, very much in the mode of goodness, in Sattva Guna. They were free from sinful life, free from vice, lies, politics, all this. They were super pious. And for them to meditate, so there was, what is the name of that yogi who was underwater? The lifespan was 100,000 years. And said, Subar? Yeah. So he was underwater for 60,000 years with one breath. Yoga process, you slow down the breath, right? He really slowed down his breath. He took one big breath. He went underwater for 60,000 years. And then he saw two fish, and he was thinking, oh, what am I doing here? Such a lonely soul. I need to get a companion. And he came out of water. See? Even he couldn't finish his meditation. Then in Treta Yuga, next method, what is the next method for meditation, for self-realization? Yajna. There were huge sacrifices, fire sacrifices to please the Supreme Lord. You have, like right now you have World Cup football or Euro Cup football. You have the stadiums full of 60, 80,000 people. So they had the same thing, but it wasn't two teams playing. There was Brahmanas performing yajna. Okay? To please the Supreme Lord and again have his darshan. Next stage, Dvapara Yuga. Temple worship like we do here. If you compare the temple worship of Dvapara Yuga and our temple, this is very ghetto, so to say. They spent, train loads of gold for the deities. Perfect brahmanas reciting the mantras. We don't have perfect brahmanas reciting the mantras. We're not good at Sanskrit because we're in Kali Yuga products now. And in Kali Yuga, all these good qualities are diminishing. Very difficult to find pious people. Therefore, in Kali Yuga, it is recommended, Kalir dosa nidhe rajan astiheko mahadguna kirtanad eva krishnasya mukta sangha, yes, param vrajit. Anybody else knows this verse? Yes, you should learn this verse. That in Kali Yuga, there is only one good quality. Even though Kalir dosa nidhe, it's an ocean of faults. This age is an ocean of faults. But it's only one good quality. That by chanting this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, or Kirtana Deva Krishnasya, Krishna Kirtan, doesn't say Shiva Kirtan, or Kali Kirtan, Durga Kirtan. It says Krishna Kirtan, Kirtana Eva Krishnasya, Param the supreme destination is attained. So in one sense, we are very fortunate that the process is very easy, almost so easy that you can miss it. And people say, oh, this is it? And it's free? Yes, it is. So the process is easy, simple. The problem is we are not simple. We will find so many excuses, so many doubts why we cannot do this. And oh, Prabhu, my mind is going here and there and everywhere. So, yes, that is expected in the beginning. And even after a long time, it's still there, it's happening. But if you take up this process and you continue nurturing that little bhakti seed that we received from the devotees, our first gurus, and then from our initiating spiritual master, who implants this bhakti lata bij, the seed of devotion, and we're nurturing this by carefully following the 4 regulative principles, avoiding the different offenses, and following all the rules and regulations of sadhana bhakti, then chanting will become easier and easier and easier. Not easier, it will become more enjoyable and pleasurable and blissful. And we will also come to the same platform of Sat Chit Ananda. We are actually Sat Chit Ananda originally and eternally. Right now we are identified with this body. We think you're Danish, I'm Hungarian, you're Indian, you're Russian, or I don't know, what else? Any other nationality here? Nepali. So many varieties of illusions. Man, male, female, tall, short, fat, skinny, intelligent, not so intelligent. But these are just the material coverings. Under all these coverings is the soul. The soul is pure. Sat, Chit, Ananda, eternal. Chit is fully intelligent, fully cognizant. And Ananda. What we have here, Asat, temporary bodies. The opposite of Sat, which is eternal. So we are not eternal. Achit, we are ignorant. And Nir Ananda, we are miserable half the time. we pretend to be happy and content, but if you're... What is real happiness? Real happiness is not to have possessions and goals achieved. Real happiness is being with Krishna. Again, the spark coming out of fire is useless. Being one with the fire in the whole. Srila Prabhupada also gives the example of our rebellious nature. When we leave the spiritual world, like the hen says, oh, why am I feeding the mouth? I am doing all the hard work. I'm laboring, working, and then I'm feeding the mouth also. And the tongue is enjoying and the stomach is enjoying. What am I getting out of all this, Communist philosophy, right? So, and then the hen says, I'm going to go away. I'm not serving this master anymore. I'm exploited here. And what happens to the hand? Without the body, the hand is finished. But when you attach the hand back to the body, the food that you feed to the mouth nourishes the hand also, nourishes the whole body. So we have to be wholesome again with Krishna. Without Krishna, we cannot be wholesome. Some individuals flip-flopping like a fish on water, on dry land. So it's a dangerous situation, and yet we think, oh, I'm very comfortable here, I'm very happy. I will be happy for sure. I just have to get the next goal and the next goal and the next goal. And it just goes on perpetually, eternally. Am I supposed to stop here? Sorry. Anybody has any question or comments? This is the time.